Hey everybody, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and it is time for patch notes 6.14. Now you're probably thinking, whoa, that was like 4 or 5 days ago. And I would say something like that's actually correct. But I was out of town in Los Angeles at the Riot Games Creator Lab 2.0. So I was away from my computer, so I could not make it. So I was out there hanging out with a lot of cool YouTubers, Sky, Black Enola, Sunny, Disciple, tons of others, Uber Guitar Dude, other people. I was busy. Anyways, so I didn't have a chance to make patch notes. You would have known this if you followed me on Twitter, because you would have saw pictures from me being gone and me saying I wasn't going to be able to make it. So yeah, follow me on Twitter. Nailed it. Anyways, we're going to talk about the patch now because it's still going to be live for over a week. And I tweeted out asking people if they would like to see it, and a handful of people said, yeah, I'd actually still really like to get your opinion on things. And this is still accurate because I haven't actually even played on this patch yet. I literally just got home, like just late last night, and I haven't had a chance to play the patch yet. So anything I say is still pretty valid in my mind, due to the fact that like I don't know if what I'm gonna say means that they are OP or not OP or whatever. But I usually don't say that anyways. Not that it matters. Anyways, we're gonna talk about the patch. It's gonna be fun. If you could leave a like, that'd be amazing. But anyways, let's talk about champions. Ryze has been released for patch 6.14. I will need to play him and see what that's all about. I don't know if he's broken or not. I think he looks interesting. Ryze has been tweaked about 16 million times though. During the course of League of Legends, and yeah, they have never gotten it fully right because it's Ryze. He's super hard to balance. Hopefully he's less stupid now, or at least less hard to balance. Like previous Ryze was like previous Kassadin before Kassadin's rework, where buffing him just a little bit made him super overpowered and nerfing him made him kind of worthless, just really hard to balance. Hopefully the new Ryze is better than that. But let's get into the actual champions that are seeing changes, like besides reworks. That would be Leona being the first one. She is having some changes happen to her passive, which is Sunlight. The damage on that is actually being reduced at later ranks. It's the same early. And then on Shield of Daybreak, on her Q, the damage on that is being reduced, but the cooldown is also being decreased by 2 seconds at each rank, so she'll be able to use it more often, so that kind of makes up for the damage coming down on that. And it gets bonus range now, a little more on it. It's got 20 more, so it's 50. And they fixed a bug on it too, which is yay. So next then on her kit is her W, which is Eclipse. And Eclipse damage also being reduced at later ranks. No other changes happening to it, just 40 coming off of it at the last rank. Zenith Blade, the root duration is longer than 1/4 of a second. It's now up to 1/2 of a second, which is awesome. That's more crowd control for her. And then Solar Flare, the damage on that is being reduced by a decent amount, you could say, honestly. But the reason why is because she has a new Soul Stoke. After using Solar Flare, Leona gains Incandescence for 5 seconds. During this time, Leona's next 3, 4, and 5 basic attacks gain 100 range, deal 30, 40, and 50 plus 0.15 ability power, bonus magic damage, and apply the Sunlight passive. So she's able to help apply the Sunlight passive, dealing more damage, and she's just going to naturally deal more damage because her attacks are going to help her deal more damage. So as long as you get in underneath your Solar Flare, you're going to be able to actually deal more damage as Leona, which is kind of neat. I want to actually really play this. Leona's in a honestly decent spot right now, so we're going to see how that goes. I'm excited about that. Those are the changes to Leona. They're fun. The next big changes coming into this patch are for Sona. Sona's getting a lot of changes. Let's talk about them. There are a lot. Her aura radius is being increased to 400 from 350. Aura duration is no longer extended up to 2 seconds while targeting allies. That's been removed, but the aura radius is increased. On her R, which is her Crescendo, which is her ultimate, each rank of Crescendo reduces Sona's basic ability cooldowns by 20, 30, and 40%. Multiplies with normal cooldown reduction. So, Hymn of Valor's bonus, instead of it being 10, 20, 40 damage on aura and power attacks, its cooldown has been reduced from 8 seconds down to 6.4, 5.6, and 4.8. We're going to see similar things happening to her other ones too, right? or a presence balance and Song of Clarity bonus. So instead of shield strength, it's going to get cooldown reduced from 10 seconds to 8, 7, 6. And the other one, instead of it having a 2, 4, and 6% self of aura movement, instead you will get a reduced 12 seconds cooldown to 9, 6, 8.4, and 7.2, if that wasn't confusing, which it probably was a little bit. Basically, as we stated before, your basic cooldowns are better, and it still works with cooldown reduction. Power Chord is going to deal more damage now, which is cool. That's her passive. Damage reduction on it when applied with that one is going to be 25% instead of 20. And then we have damage ratio, 2% of 100 ability power, 4% now per 100 ability power. And it now shrinks the target for the duration of the buff, killing them softly. Fantastic. Sounds fun. Hymn of Valor. It is getting a nerf on damage later. Same early, but it's less later, but you'll have technically it on a better cooldown. Perseverance. Heal is actually being increased. Heal ratio on ability power is increased. Shield is being increased at later ranks, not so much at early ranks. It's 5 less on the first rank, but it's better from there on out pretty much. Shield ratio also better. No longer increases healing up to 50% based on the target's missing health though, so that's been removed, but it's pretty much buffed throughout. And the movement speed now is going to give you more movement speed, and it's non-decaying movement speed for 3 seconds. Lasts up to 4 additional seconds while Sona is out of combat. Or a movement speed ratio, 6% of 100 ability power instead of 4%. Or a movement speed duration 1.5 is now 3 seconds. Fantastic. I know that that was really convoluted and really full of numbers, but let me summarize things in one way. I believe, since I was at Riot this week, Sona's win rate is skyrocketed to almost 60%. She's super strong right now. She is, in fact, the most winning support by a huge margin. Anybody with a 59% win rate is going to be kind of top of the charts. So, super powerful right now. I'm expecting nerfs of some kind. She's moved up 11 position changes under the support tier. Super powerful right now. Not that I've played it yet, like I said, but I know she's super strong because Rioters told me. Hashtag truth. Anyways, up next we have Annie. Mostly some stuff on Tibbers. Tibbers is less of a dumb bear, which is good. Tibbers targets... If Tibbers' target enters Fog of War, Tibbers now continues pathing to target's last known location rather than stopping in his tracks. It's very smart. Tibbers no longer forgets how to attack his target if crowd controlled. Fixed a bug where Tibbers could not be ordered to attack inhibitors or the Nexus, should he sometimes decide to do so on his own. Fixed a bug where Tibbers could fail to go berserk if Annie gave him a command at the moment she died. So, good changes to Tibbers to make him a smarter bear. We like that. Very good. Azir. Probably a bug fix somewhere in here. Oh, no, there isn't. Darn. On soldier damage on his Ryze. It's still 50 to 170 at levels 1 through 18, but scales worse from levels 1 to 11. The scaling increases from levels 14 to 18 to catch back up. So this kind of tweaks his mid-game. Here's how it all lays out. It is exactly the same, but as you can see from here, it's lessened, and then it increases more greatly later on from those levels. And the soldier vision range is being decreased from 575 to 350, matching their attack range indicator, which makes sense. So another nerf to Azir, but it still is going to amplify him much harder at late game because it's the same amount. Just won't have as much power in that mid-range where they don't really need him to have much more power than what he currently has. Because it's Azir, he really doesn't need it. He's got insane late game. He doesn't need to be insane throughout the rest of the game. It's not how it works. Fiora is next. Passive Duelist Dance. Health on Vital Hit is being increased by 5, which is a thing. Q lunge ratio bonus attack damage is being increased at earlier ranks and still scales up to the same amount. So it just does more early on for that. So basically passive heals more and Q scaling is increased at earlier levels. That's pretty much all there is. That's Fiora. Probably should be helpful for her. She has seen a few nerfs and has fallen out of favor a little bit, but she's definitely still viable. She has tons of true damage, so I don't really care. I think she was fine, but she got a buff, so hooray if you like Fiora. Illaoi is next. Tentacle indicators are now more accurate when displaying the area they're going to slam, which is a good thing, considering Alawi has also been seeing more play, and I think her win rate also has been moving up. There were some pretty cool ults I watched. I believe Huni did it in the LCS about a day ago, or 2 days ago, whenever that was. Not that he was like killing everybody with her, but he had some ults that just like did so much damage. Like, geez, like you can get jumped on by 4 people and like half-life all of them instantly and almost take them all out. He didn't get kills, but damn, he made them all walk away regretting it almost. So yeah, changes, just small indicator changes to Alawi. Lee Sin is next. His safeguard, which is his shield, the shield amount of it is the same at the first rank, but then it's going to be increased going all the way up to 280 from 200 originally. So he's just going to get more shielding on his W. I think Lee's actually already a pretty good jungler right now. Not like, obviously, pick or ban worthy, because Lee Sin is almost fully dependent upon the person who's playing Lee Sin. But this definitely does help him out, and this is a good for survival. So, helps Lee Sin out. Not sure he needed it, but this will make him a little bit more of a pick that you can probably fall back onto a little bit. So, it'll make him pretty good again, even though he's already good. So, definitely worth taking a look at. Lux is next. Illumination passive damage is being increased at later ranks. Light Binding, however, is getting a damage nerf by 10 at all ranks. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really think it needed a nerf, but the Illumination passive, the increased damage later, makes it better because late on in the game, it's hard to get in a position to auto attack and get the passive to work, so now it's worth it a little bit more, but obviously make sure you keep yourself safe as Lux, because late game, you just kind of stand back and nuke. Malzahar is next up for changes. Movement speed is being decreased by 5, and basic attack range is being decreased by 50. Malzahar is still getting picked and played a handful. He's not the most winning mid laner, but he's still got some annoyances, so this is one way to take a little bit of power out of him. Take a little chase out of him by just, 5 movement speed, slows him down a tiny bit. And basic attack range makes it so he can't harass quite as hard. And that's helpful in ways. I mean, he's definitely strong. And he was always strong, honestly, before his rework. Just now his rework makes him favorable for picking because he comes in handy a little more often than he previously did. So they're just going to have to take a little bit of power out of him. See, they're happy with his gameplay and Void Staff's gameplay insensitizing, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, there's tweaks coming into Mal's. There might be more in the future, but I think for now, I still think he's fine. I still think he's a wasted ban if you're banning him. So there's definitely ways to deal with him. He doesn't do that much. He really only can hurt one person at a time, for the most part. So, Poppy. We're talking Poppy now. Iron Ambassador cooldown is being decreased at earlier ranks. Hooray. The damage on it is being decreased as well, though. So, kind of a trade-off. And then the shield amount, instead of it being 15% of Poppy's maximum health at all ranks, it's going to be 15, 17.5, 20% of Poppy's maximum health at 7, or 1, 7, and 13. So it does scale up, so the shield gets bigger, which is good. Nice to see that there's some more adversity on that ability, or her passive. And then Steadfast Presence, bonus movement speed is being increased at all ranks. So she gets a little bit more value out of Steadfast Presence, which is good, because Poppy got nerfed pretty much not into the ground. She was still goodish, but not good enough that LCS players were really picking her back up after she got nerfed. But she was pick or ban pretty much every game, so she needed to have her time out of the spotlight. Now she can probably be more of a pocket pick with some of these positive changes coming back to her, especially the Steadfast Presence. That really helps close the gap and connect with targets that you want to smash them into walls. It's very good. So that's a positive, real positive change for Poppy. Rek'Sai is the next up. Probably one of the best junglers currently right now in the game. Burrow, which is W, Tremor Sense refresh per target is going to be 1.5 seconds instead of 0.75 seconds. Tremor Sense won't alert Rek'Sai if the enemy is minorly moving to avoid their facing. Modify their facing. Okay, so just small tweaks. They literally have to actually be running and moving, not just like the tiny little juddery, like just turning around. This takes some power out of Rek'Sai's vision, obviously. in that form, but that's okay because the rest of Rek'Sai is pretty damn strong. She's a good champion. Talia's next. Talia also pretty good, pretty strong. Cooldown on Seismic Shove is being increased at later ranks, so it's not up as much. And then Cast Paradigm. Cast to place, recast to direct, vector casting. Oh, okay, so it's vector casting. Like, okay, so basically it's going to be more casting like the Equalizer, which is good. I like that. That's better. And if you don't know what that's like, then try it out. Talia no longer locked out of casting other spells for 0.55 seconds after casting Seismic Shove. That's kind of weird, but apparently there was a lockout, which is a good thing to fix. Or removed, so remove the lockout. So that's good. Unraveled Earth, each mine deals 15% less damage than the last when detonating on the same target. Minimum 55% damage. So a little bit of power taken out of Talia. Sorry if I said it wrong the first time. I've heard it about 7 different times, or different ways. But this is kind of a good change, I'd say. A lot of people thought she was really weak. I thought she was honestly completely fine. For the most part, she was. Taking a little bit of power out, changing the cooldowns, tweaking some things, and dealing less damage here. She's a good pick. People who've been also getting better with her really can destroy, and that just happens. So she's getting nerfed. Just a little bit. Not crazy, though. So calm your tits. Victor. Glorious Evolution. Hex Core MK1 cost is being increased by 250 gold. Perfect Core upgrade cost is only 750 instead of 1,000, so it remains unchanged on its total cost. This feels like a way to get him to have his first upgrade cost a little bit more, so he's not quite as spiky on that first upgrade, but he doesn't really get punished for the rest of his cores. He just isn't supposed to spike as soon. I like that change a lot, actually. I really think this is an impactful one, because after he gets a kill and can go back and buy his first core for 1,000, he shows up and does way more damage than anybody who could just go back and buy a blasting wand and or a couple rings or something stupid. Yajimbo is next up on the list. Steel Tempest fixed a bug where Steel Tempest wasn't actually critically striking when Yasuo had 100% crit chance. They fixed a bug where Yasuo could be locked out of his basic attack after casting Sweeping Blade or Last Breath. Wind Wall no longer fails to block projectiles in the instant it was cast, if cast at the same time Yasuo died. And then Sweeping Blade fixed the bug where Sweeping Blade could be chain cast on multiple targets without cooldown or cast time if cast while knocked up. So a lot of bug fixes really coming to Yasuo. Yay, I guess. I don't like Yasuo. I think most of you know that. I really have nothing to say about Yasuo. Giant, who cares? I mean, bug fixes are good, obviously. That's an obvious. Cloud Drake. Finally, Cloud Drake is more impactful. Instead of getting 15, 30, and 45 out of combat movement speed, you're now getting 25, 50, and 75. That's way more impactful. Because if you get 2 of those bastards now, you actually are going to be legit faster. And if you get 3 of them, you're going to be going around like a madman. And as much as they seem to spawn, which seems to be all the time, except for my last 2 A to Z jungle games where Infernal Drake was on my nuts, then you're going to want, to get some bonuses out of it if it's happening all the time. Twisted Tree Line. All right, cool. We're just going to go ahead and go past this because nobody honestly cares. Cooldown pings. Following icons can be pinged to automatically provide information to your team via chat. Abilities. Summoner names. Major items. Vision items including treekins, health, and resource bars. You can also click on jungle timers in the tab menu to put them in chat. Don't ping them, just click them. If you alt tab, it's not our fault. We warned you. Jungle timers, just click them. So that's what's up. Champion Mastery. Since we introduced Mastery levels 6 and 7, support players felt even more incentivized to snipe kills to pad their stats and improve chances of getting an S or S+. We're retuning the system, sorting out additional variables so supports get more credit for supporty game-winning plays. Support grades now better reflect relative performance in the role. Support grades specifically weigh assists equal to kills, leaving 1 fewer excuse for bloodthirsty flash ignites. So, basically, getting tons of kills and not dying was really important for every role to get an SRS. Plus, it's hard for supports to do that without basically playing Zyra, essentially. And anybody who is basically taking Ignite and last-hitting kills from all the rest of their team as a support to try to get SNS pluses. That's kind of shitty for a support to just seriously go for KSs. I mean, you shouldn't go for KS. If you get a kill, it happens, but you shouldn't be striving to get the last hit on every kill. So this makes sense to weigh it towards the supports where assists are reflected much higher for you because you should be assisting the team. You are supporting them. That's kind of how it works. So that's a good change. Nexus Siege. The all-new Nexus Siege mode hits in a few weeks. Hooray. Bug fixes. You can read through these if your body really, really wants to. And upcoming skins. Pool Party Fiora, Pool Party Misfortune, and Pool Party Tarek, which I believe they're all live. Let's take a closer look at them. Yeah, would call. Also would call. And I think I haven't seen these really in-game yet, although I believe they're actually out now. So you probably already have these ones. So you should let me know who you have of these ones. If you do have them, let me know in the comments. And Pool Party Tarek. Nifty. Swifty. What's going on back here? Looks like Draven. Nifty. Nifty indeed. Cool. So, yeah, that's the patch. I ran through it fairly quick, honestly. Although there wasn't like crazy amounts, not tons of like item reworks and tweaks, unless you're talking Twisted Treeline. But you probably don't watch my channel if you play just Twisted Treeline. I'm assuming. I have no idea. I could be wrong. Who knows? But yeah, those are the changes. Let me know what you guys think. If you could leave me a like, that would also be awesome. Let me know what of the pool party skins you would like or are getting if you are doing either of those things. And I wish all of you guys the very best of luck on the patch. And look forward to hopefully the OP picks in a couple days or so. And I'll see all of you guys later. Peace.